Keloğlan grew up in a city where everyone was fascinated by technology. With his bald head, curious eyes, and endless energy, he was always noticeable among his friends. His nickname, Keloğlan, was well-deserved. His charming and funny style made him everyone's favorite. His closest friends in the city were Ayşe and Emre. Ayşe was obsessed with learning everything around her, especially robots and inventions were like magic machines in her eyes. With her hair tightly tied on both sides and her intelligent gaze behind her glasses, she was a knowledge monster. Her red backpack always contained surprising things: a small robotic flashlight, a tiny drone she made herself, and even notebooks filled with drawings and notes. Emre was a computer genius who could disassemble and understand anything related to technology. His favorite thing was computer games, but he was more curious about how games were made. He would disassemble every electronic device he got his hands on and proudly show it off like an inventor. Emre always had a shiny tablet in his hand. Through this tablet, he introduced Keloğlan and Ayşe to new inventions and fun games. One day, while the three friends were walking in the park, they got stuck in the middle of a crowd in front of a huge screen. The children excitedly shouted, "You have to see this, Keloğlan!" Keloğlan immediately turned towards the screen. A video was playing on the big tablet, and an extraordinary robot appeared on the screen. This robot had a metallic but cute face, and its large eyes seemed to observe every corner of the screen, making them feel watched. "I need your help," the robot said. It explained that an update package was missing, and that only Keloğlan and his friends could find it. Without this update package, it couldn't start the entertainment shows in the park. Ayşe, excited, put her backpack on her back and said, "Let's go, Keloğlan, an adventure awaits us." Emre, looking at his tablet, added, "We need strategies to find the update the robot mentioned." Keloğlan, with his eyes wide open, said, "I'm ready. Let's run around the park and maybe we'll find the missing update right away." And so the three of them set off on a fun adventure into the depths of the park. Keloğlan, Ayşe, and Emre started running quickly towards the depths of the park. Around them, flying drones, glittering holograms, and technological play areas presented a dazzling spectacle. Keloğlan shouted, "This is so beautiful," as he began to examine everything around him. The green areas of the park were filled with colourful flowers, and LED lights hanging from the branches of the trees turned the night into day. The air smelled so good that it felt like the flowers were influenced by the power of technology and had released a special perfume. "Look at those flying drones. How fast they are," Ayşe exclaimed, her eyes sparkling. Emre took out his tablet and started recording the drone's flights. "I need to learn how to program them," he said. Keloğlan, while running, glanced at a large poster hanging in the park. The poster read, "Robotic Fun Day," and showed many fun activities. Suddenly, Keloğlan remembered what the robot had said and said, "Come on, let's move forward to find the missing update." With their friends, they continued walking quickly. However, as they moved deeper into the park, they encountered more technologically advanced and complex areas. They found a mysterious passage behind the large hologram trees. Above the passage was a big screen that read, "You must know the password to pass." Emre immediately looked at his large tablet and said, "We must find this password. We can solve this with the clues the hologram shows us." Keloğlan's heart was pounding with excitement. What kind of clues? He asked. Aisha thought that everything in the park needed to be examined carefully. Maybe the holograms on the trees show us something. Let's look at them, she said. They carefully looked around. The hologram trees had colourful lights and were marked with different symbols. Keloğlan thought, these symbols might be parts of the password. Emre started researching the symbols on his tablet. This is a math puzzle, he exclaimed excitedly. The holograms contained some numbers represented by triangle, circle, and square symbols. Keloğlan said, we have to solve this, come on. After working together for a few minutes, they finally found the password. 359. When the passage door opened with a loud noise, the area inside looked dark and mysterious. With their friends, they stepped inside. Inside, it looked like a large laboratory. Everywhere were large screens, disassembled robots, and metal tools. I think this is where the missing update is, said Keloğlan. But at that moment, they heard the terrifying voice of malicious robots. You came here to get this update, but we will stop you, they said. Keloğlan and his friends, not knowing what to do, stepped back. But Keloğlan gathered his courage. No, you can't do this. We can overcome this difficulty together, he said. As Keloğlan and his friends stepped into the laboratory, they realized that everything around them was dark and mysterious. High ceilings with hanging cables, glowing screens, and robot parts excited and scared them at the same time. With their friends, they moved towards the center of the laboratory. Every step they took, they felt as if the malicious robot's eyes were on them. Keloğlan bravely said, "Come on, we have to find this update together." Emre opened the map of the laboratory on his tablet. This looks complicated, but we have to be careful. Maybe the update is on this side, he pointed out. Aisha, carefully looking around, suddenly noticed the glowing holograms on the walls. There seem to be some clues here, but it will take time to solve them. Suddenly, a voice came from the dark corners of the laboratory. Don't come closer. This laboratory is under the protection of malicious robots. The voice was so terrifying that it made Keloğlan's heart skip a beat. With their friends, they stepped back, their eyes filled with fear. Where is this voice coming from? Aisha asked, scared. We have to protect ourselves. Keloğlan gathered his courage. We need to make a plan. Maybe we can find a way to defeat them, he said. Emre suddenly lit up as if he had an idea. Maybe the robot's eyes are very powerful. We can distract them with a plan. This way, we can find the update, he said. But Keloğlan asked, what if the update is a trap? What if it's lost and no one can find it? Aisha said, or what if the malicious robots are playing with us because we're lost? Many questions began to emerge in their minds. Suddenly, a large screen in the center of the laboratory started to glow. On the screen, the image of the missing update appeared, but something caught their attention. There was a large lock symbol in the middle of the update. Keloğlan thought, we have to unlock this, but how? Emre had an idea. If a password is needed to unlock this, maybe the symbols on the holograms form this password. Keloğlan said, but which symbols? They all look alike. Aisha started looking more carefully. Maybe these are a kind of puzzle. If we find the symbols in the correct order, we can unlock the lock, she added excitedly. The robot's smiling faces suddenly turned cold. You can't unlock this lock, they said. Keloğlan and his friends were stuck in the middle of these terrifying voices. They looked at each other and thought, what should we do? Keloğlan said, we have to work together, but how? Time is running out. The time inside the dark laboratory was passing very slowly. The friends came together, trusting each other. Keloğlan said, "If we can't find the password, we will lose this update and the park's entertainment will be lost forever." Everyone's eyes lit up with hope, but were also filled with uncertainty. "We have to trust each other. We are together, and we can overcome this difficult time," he said, gathering his courage. But one question remained in their minds. Could they really succeed? Keloğlan, Ayşe and Emre decided to work together to solve the puzzle inside the dark laboratory. They immediately turned to the holograms around them. "Let's carefully examine these symbols," said Keloğlan. Each of them focused their eyes on the glowing screens to find which symbol was in which order. Working together, they started to solve each symbol in order. Emre wrote down the meanings of the symbols on his tablet, while Ayşe carefully watched the glowing image of the missing update on the big screen. Keloğlan shouted, "Here's a triangle, here's a circle, and here's a square," as he tried to find the correct order. After a while, they found the correct combination: triangle, circle, square. Keloğlan bravely stepped towards the screen and touched each symbol with his fingers. At that moment, a big light flashed. The lock sound was heard, and the lock on the screen started to open. "We did it!" Ayşe exclaimed, jumping with joy. But immediately after, the laboratory's robots shouted, "No, this is impossible!" But Keloğlan and his friends no longer cared about them. The lights from the screen showed that the missing update was opening. Keloğlan stepped in front of the screen to get the update. "Let's get this update and save the park's entertainment," he said. After receiving the update from the glowing screen, Keloğlan, Ayşe and Emre quickly stepped back. A moment later, the laboratory door opened automatically, and they all rushed outside. The friends saw the beautiful sun outside. The park now looked even more beautiful. Everything was shining brightly. "We did it! We saved the park," Keloğlan said, celebrating with his friends. Ayşe said, "Thanks to this update, the park will be more fun and technological." Emre added, "There will be more robot games and activities. Now all the children will come here." Keloğlan said, "We all worked together and achieved something amazing." He smiled. With their friends, they set off to join the new entertainments in the park. Now everything in the park would be even more fun, and most importantly, they realized that they could overcome any difficulty thanks to the power of their friendship. As the sun sent its warm rays over the park, Keloğlan and his friends decided to play games, explore new technologies, and experience many more adventures together. And that day, while playing happily in the park, they were ready for new adventures, with big smiles on their faces. And so, Keloğlan and his friends' adventure in the technological world had become a new beginning filled with friendship and solidarity.